So let me just ask you, how do you talk to yourself? Do you talk to yourself? The answer is, of course you do, and perhaps you haven't voiced like the internal dialogue in your head like I'm suggesting, but you do talk to yourself whether you've realized it or not. Hey, I'm Terry Savelle Foy, your cheerleader of dreams. Hey, one of my favorite quotes of all time is this: the secret of your future is hidden in your daily routine. Well, when I changed my routine, it changed my whole life. One of the biggest keys I learned to change my routine was listening to faith-building messages that pointed my life in the right direction. So I want to ask you to subscribe to this podcast so you get constant coaching to help you live your dreams. In fact, I want to share with you my personal list of positive affirmations to help you have a positive attitude about your dreams. Now, I'm going to show you how to access that list in just a minute, but first, today I want to teach you the importance of making positive affirmations to change your whole attitude. You know, what if I told you that what you say to others isn't nearly as important as what you say to yourself? It's true. See, how you talk to yourself will determine how positive you are and how successful you're going to be, period. Now, that's a bold statement full of truth, but think about it. Your personal affirmations can truly help you lose weight, get good grades, achieve promotion, close sales, get along with family members. You can even win awards and even gold medals. In fact, I was reading an article by theatlantic.com, and researchers interviewed 17 national champion figure skaters. Now, this was back in 1993, to discover their unique coping strategies for handling stress. Well, they discovered that 158 unique strategies were practiced among them. But the most common, used by 76% of the skaters, was self-talk. Self-talk, your self-talk changes your attitude and it changes your outcome. Now, you may have heard of Ruben Gonzalez. He agrees with this study, and what he did was he took his personal list of positive affirmations with him all over the world. And daily, he gave himself these pep talks, helping him become, he said, resilient in the face of life's challenges. Now, he called it the Champion's Creed. You may have heard of this. These affirmations helped him, he said, stay focused on his goals and become a 3-time Olympic medalist. Now, he believed that in order to start your day like a champion, you must fine-tune your mindset. He recommended reading positive, motivational statements such as the Champion's Creed out loud first thing in the morning and before you go to bed. And he said, read them with power and passion. You know, eyeball to eyeball in the mirror, he said. So let me just read the Champion's Creed to you by Ruben Gonzalez. This is what he would say: I am a champion. I believe in myself. I have the will to win. I set high goals for myself. I'm surrounding myself with winners. I'm cool, positive, and confident. I'm willing to pay the price for success. I stay relaxed and in control at all times. I focus all my energy on the job at hand. I take responsibility for all of my results. I have the courage to endure and persist. I vividly imagine what victory will feel like. Then he closed it with this: I am a champion and I will win. I love that, don't you? So imagine starting your day like that. Would it affect your attitude? It will. And the thing is, it does. I'm living proof. So let me just ask you, how do you talk to yourself? Do you talk to yourself? The answer is, of course you do, and perhaps you haven't voiced like the internal dialogue in your head like I'm suggesting, but you do talk to yourself whether you've realized it or not. See, we all have that inner voice, the voice in your mind that happens without you even recognizing it. It's a running commentary that you have with yourself about yourself, and it affects your attitude positively or negatively. In fact, I read where brain research has discovered that we send ourselves messages at a rate of nearly 500 words per minute. Now, that's a lot of chatter going on the inside that nobody even hears except you. But here's the thing. It's not mindless chatter. See, it has a way of creating its own reality. And if you dwell on negative thoughts, it will produce a negative attitude, and it's going to stop you from reaching your dreams. In fact, your mind can literally talk yourself out of your destiny. Now, unfortunately, most of our internal conversation is negative. So, If your inner conversation is hopeful, it's optimistic, it's uplifting, you will have a positive attitude and a positive life. So I want to help you use your self-talk to your advantage. Mark Twain said, "I'm always in conversation, and sometimes other people are involved." I like that. Well, I heard an interesting story about this university professor who made a unique offer to his college students one day. This is what he did. As he was getting ready to give them their final exams, for the semester, he was bragging on them how proud he was of the class. And because they'd done so well that semester, he said, "I want to offer you something special." So what he said was, "Anyone who wants to receive an automatic C grade on the test, raise your hand." He explained, he said, "You're not going to be tested whatsoever. Just lift your hand." He said, "No pressure, no failing grade. You are going to pass with flying colors." Well, he said one hand went up. They're looking around. Then another hand went up. Another hand. About half the class got up and walked out of the room. They were so relieved. No stress, no worry, no failing grade. Then the professor went on to pass out the test to the rest of the students. So he laid them face down on their desk. And he asked them, he said, "Do not turn these over until I instruct you to do so." Well, for the next several minutes, he encouraged them on how they were going to go far in life and how their positive attitude is going to take them great places in life. And he said, you should always strive to do your best like you've done today. Then he instructed them, turn the test over and get started. Well, when they turned the pages over, it had only 2 sentences, and this is what it said. "Congratulations, you just made an A." Think about that. The ones who stayed had a positive attitude and believed that they had what it took to get an A. Why settle for a C when you can get an A? In other words, why settle for mediocrity when God has amazing plans for your life? Well, why settle for less simply because of a negative attitude? See, when you allow negative thoughts to remain in your mind, you're settling for a C. God has so much more for you, but you have to change your attitude by changing your internal dialogue. So like I said, your mind will talk you out of God's best. You'll consistently feel unqualified, too shy, incapable, unworthy, unskilled, less than average. I'm just asking you, believe in yourself a little more. Believe that God's word is true and that it was written for you. Believe that when you take authority over your thought life and you begin speaking faith-filled declarations over yourself, your life is moving in that direction. So remember this statement. Do you want to see where your life is headed? Listen to the words that are coming out of your mouth. Imagine speaking these types of affirmations over yourself, just like the Champions Creed. And I'm telling you, you'll change your attitude in the right direction. So listen to just some of these. I am courageous in the pursuit of my dreams. I'm expecting blessings to chase me down and overtake me. I'm always in the right place at the right time. I have more than enough. God is restoring the years that were stolen from me. I love that one, don't you? I expect God to accelerate things in my life. I have extraordinary opportunities given to me. I have preferential treatment because of God's favor. Just imagine saying these over yourself. I rise above every challenge stronger than I was before. I embrace every new season God has for me. I'm rising above every obstacle. I know that all things are working together for my good. I'm programmed for success. And listen to this one. I have the wisdom of God to make the best decisions. Don't you just feel good hearing those statements? Now remember, you believe your own self more than anyone. What you repeatedly hear, you eventually believe. So you have to speak it out of your mouth. And I'm telling you, I am 100% convinced if you'll change what you're saying, you will change what you're seeing. So I want you to have my personal list of positive affirmations. So I'm going to give you a link at the end to access these declarations so you can start speaking them out of your mouth. So let me just mention real quick who our YouTube subscriber of the week is. Comet 25194. I like that name. And they write, "Hey Terry, I am 18 years old and I've been absolutely loving your videos." Thank you, Comet 25194. It says, "I have gained more perspective and realized what I need to do to change my life and become a living example of God." I love that. "You're so awesome and you're a true cheerleader for me in my life. Thank you, girl. Much love." That blesses my heart. And I want to thank you, Comet 25194, for writing, taking the time, and just that you're feeding yourself. You're doing what we're talking about today. You're listening to inspirational messages, and I believe getting the dialogue that's going to direct your life in the right direction. Well, Remember, like I said, you believe your own self more than anybody. And what you repeatedly hear, you eventually believe. So you have to speak it out of your own mouth. And I said before, I'm convinced if you'll change what you're saying, you'll change what you're seeing. That's why I want you to have my personal list of positive affirmations. All you have to do is click the link in the description or go to terry.com/affirmations to get my personal list that I speak over my family, my finances, my fitness, and my goals every morning. And don't forget, for more consistent motivation, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. Find my handles below or click that little subscribe button for weekly videos to make this your best year yet. And remember, I'm cheering you on to live your dreams.